Let's be clear right off the bat. It feels wild that I have to say this, but no, there are no secret men competing in women's boxing at the Paris Olympics. These posts from a bajillion accounts like Libs of TikTok are straight up false, misinformation, inaccurate, literally wrong. But why are these accounts pushing such blatant misinformation online about alleged men in Olympic women's boxing? This is Algerian boxer Imane Khelif. On Thursday, she boxed against Italy's Carini in the round of 16, and Carini quit like 45 seconds into the bout after Khelif landed a hard punch on her exposed chin. And people with more boxing expertise than me have already pointed out that Carini made a tactical mistake in opening herself up to a hit like that, but online anti-trans voices have jumped on this match as an example of an apparent trans woman, in their transphobic words, a man, hurting innocent women like Carini who just want to compete in sports. But here's the thing. In pushing that false narrative, the online commentators are the ones who are actually hurting women, both cis and trans, who want to compete. Khelif isn't a trans woman. She's also not a man. She's literally a cis woman, competing in women's boxing, per all of the guidelines set out by the Olympics. Now, the origin of all these false claims comes from Khelif's history being disqualified from the Women's World Championships in New Delhi last year after failing a gender eligibility test set by the International Boxing Association. Now, there's not a ton of details available about the nature of that test, but Khelif and Taiwanese boxer Lin Yuting, who's also competing in Paris and also failed the test at the World Championships, have come under intense scrutiny from online transphobes about their participation in the Olympics this year and their testosterone levels. And in a statement Thursday, IOC spokesperson Mark Adams defended both women's participation, saying, quote, "What I would say is that this involves real people, and we are talking about real people's lives here. They have competed, and they continue to compete in the women's competition. They have lost, and they have won against other women over the years." As we know, dating back to athletes like Caster Semenya and Duty Chand, women's testosterone levels in the Olympics have a complicated history. The biological fact of the matter is that a lot of cis women have elevated testosterone levels, intersex people also exist, and the human body is rarely a true binary of men equal testosterone and women equal estrogen. And that's all true without even factoring in trans people. Both Khelif and Lin are women. They've qualified for the Olympics in a system that is, frankly, from the start, hostile towards anyone who exists outside of rigid gender norms. And they deserve to compete without having a bajillion online transphobes weaponize their bodies for malicious narrative pushing. And as we saw when Alberta Premier Danielle Smith cited a rugby video she claimed featured a trans woman athlete, but actually didn't when justifying her slate of policies restricting trans women's access to competitive sports in her province, this sort of online misinformation can have very real consequences that go beyond the athletes involved. These narratives that men are posing as women to get an advantage in sports are grounded in no actual facts, but they have tangible impact on athletes of all genders. And by the way, there are actually not even any trans women at all in the Olympics this year, largely due to the massive institutional barriers to them competing in sports. And it's important that we correct the record, because anti-trans misinformation like this that's supposedly in support of women athletes actually does nothing but harm them.